Lovely Cheese Pizza presents San Francisco Rush 2049.
I totally forgot how loud that is. I am sorry for assaulting your ears with that. Anywho, what's going on, everybody? Your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza here, and welcome to a game that I love so very much. It is my absolute favorite game in this franchise, and it's a game that I've been wanting to play on this channel for at least half of my YouTube career, but I was never able to get it working because, A, the Dreamcast version is the best version in my opinion, and two, my Dreamcast broke, and so I didn't have a way of playing it, and I could never find a working emulator that I could use that was stable enough to run this without it being absolutely awful until about a month ago. So I tested it out, everything works great, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So welcome to Let's Play San Francisco Rush 2049, also one of my favorite arcade games as well. The arcade version of this is very different from this, and it's super cool, and actually it had one of these really cool like 10-key like telephone pads in there that you could register your own player name and information with, and it was awesome. It would like log all of your high scores in the machine, and the in-game coins that you would find in tracks could be used for unlocking cars and other tracks and like tournament edition things, and it was super sick. This version has like a dumbed down version of it that was more akin to things like Rush 2, but it's still super cool. So with that, we're gonna be exploring this, and it's going to be a moderately lengthy series for a couple reasons. One, there's more than just one circuit in here. There's actually like 4 or 5 of them. And so that certainly kind of adds a little bit extra replay value to all of it. So you have the beginner circuit, there's like intermediate, there's advanced, and then there's extremes. There's 4. But there's also, to add into it, there's also the stunt levels, and there's a few of these as well. And, well, by doing these, you also unlock different cars, and if you log 1 million total stunt points, you unlock the GAUNTLET track, of which I love the GAUNTLET track. That's one thing I really want to do in here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, this is going to be a fun series, guys. I'm really pumped about this. It's a game that I have not played nearly as much as I have wanted over the last number of years, and this fills me with an immense amount of joy. And I really needed this today because I'm having a horrible mental health day, and this is a place that I know that I can always go to make myself feel better. So we're gonna do it. I've got a little bit of story time as well, so we're gonna do the marina track. This game, I cannot stress enough, has a beautiful soundtrack. It is one of my it's probably my favorite out of the Rush games. We're going to do the 8-ball. I love the 8-ball. As normal, I'm always going to play on manual. We're going to have advanced handling. The engine doesn't really matter. However, one thing that's different in this game from Rush 2 previously is that you can eventually unlock parts for your car that will actually enhance the stats, which is nice. So a little bit later on, we can get engines that are better, that will give us more top speed and acceleration. We do get some different tires that will affect these things. And I think that is, and then I think we also get different transmission as well. I think there is Sport Auto and one other one as well, and so that's going to be really cool too. So I think we have everything set where we want to have it for right now, except for I'm going to change the paint job on this. The yellow one is just not my jam. So let's go. Ooh, I got to go with that blue, man. That blue is just clean. So here we go. We're gonna get going, as it were with all the other games. I gotta get used to the joystick here. It's a little bit touchy. I'm using a PS4 controller here, so I'm definitely not using authentic hardware, because I don't even think they even make wired to PC Dreamcast controllers. But like I said, as it was for like things like Rush 2 and the original San Francisco Rush. Oh boy. Oh, okay. They have 8 silver coins, which are the easier ones to find. They have 8 gold coins, which are the harder ones to find. Cannot believe I died right there. Oh god. Okay. Getting used to it. This might be a little bit rough around the edges for a couple races, but we'll get there. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I remember all the shortcuts too. That's another part of this. Each of these levels has quite a variety of them, and me trying to remember where they're all at could be hilarious, possibly. Maybe not. Who knows? But yeah, there's 8 silvers, there's 8 golds, there's a wealth of different shortcuts in here, and obviously by accruing lots and lots of them, we'll unlock new cars and cool stuff. So we'll just see how well I remember it. There may be a couple episodes where I just go into like single race or practice mode and just scour the levels looking for some coins. And one big thing here is there's also the addition of wings that you can use for stunts. That's primarily what they're for, but they also really come in handy in a pinch for helping with some rough situations, i.e., you know, you went off of a jump kind of sideways and you need to straighten out. And so the wings that are the best ones for that are actually the large wings, which have the purple little lights on the outside of them. So far looking pretty good though. 3 coins out of 16 in one race. I am not upset with that. And then the green wings, which are the small ones, are considered the stunt wings, if you will. They provide faster rotations and, you know, faster control. The large ones are more for, you know, promoting stability, which is better for like regular races. So we'll probably go in when we get an opportunity and we'll fix some of that up. We've got a pretty commanding lead right now. I always, when I go off of big jumps like this, I always like doing things like that where I just do a little barrel roll. Not a big deal. I've had plenty of times where it actually comes back on me and it becomes a big problem. But for now, we're good. Hey, man. Thank you. So, we'll hit this last shortcut here and I think we're going to be alright. Oh, except for the train. Thank you. Okay, we'll go up the tunnel here. We're going to probably end up setting a lap record along with this because there are none. At least I don't think so. I fooled around with this a little bit and I'd created a profile for it, but I deleted it right before this so it would delete all the information. So I don't think it saved any of the lap times. Nope, yep, it got rid of them all. So there we go. I have all 3 lap records, which is lovely. So we'll be able to, huh? Absolutely. What am I gonna do? Oh, yeah, next race. I love this track. It's one of my favorite songs in the game, so I'm probably gonna turn the sound effects volume down a little bit for it. Let's go in and change the wings to large, and we're off.
Wings?
Mm-hmm. You have wings. So when you go off a jump, you can deploy wings and have yourself like fly around and stuff. It's more like glider wings. It's not like you don't actually like physically fly. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's turn the sound effects volume down to 3, just because I really want to hear the song because it's great. It's just like all the music in this game. It's super jazzy, and I don't know. It always gets me pumped. See if I can pull this one off. I always have a rough time with it, but we're good. You can fly past the windmill, you can go underneath here, and it's pretty smooth sailing. You end up going right underneath everybody over on the right side. They can get a little bit of an advantage on you if they get a better start than you, but I mean, once we get going, there's kind of a sequence of shortcuts in this level that you can really put them out of commission pretty fast if you know what you're doing. I'm gonna see if I can pull them off. This way. Not a lot of them. Oh, I went the wrong way. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's not a detriment. We ended up still landing in a place that works, but if you go off of the jump there, you can actually get into a different area that's a little bit more conducive for faster lap times. Then we'll take this right side and go up here. Don't hit this red panel, otherwise you will crush yourself and die. So, those red panels are not always useful. They, a lot of the time, are traps, and so you have to be very careful with it. There's a lot of trial and error that goes along with it. But yeah, other than that, we're moving along pretty well here. So, whoa boy. that was a problem.
Don't.
We're okay. Sometimes it's better to just abort and get yourself back on the track than trying to fix it yourself and move back around. So, over the last few days or so, my wife and I have really gotten into watching like urban exploration videos on YouTube, which is a lot of fun. And we started getting into one where I'm trying to remember what his name is. I think one of them, the guy's name was, I think, Abandoned Explorer, which he has great videos. And there's another one of a guy, I think it's called like Shy. It's like Shiey. And both of them on separate occasions made trips to Pripyat, and they went to Chernobyl. And just like watching their videos of exploring around in there. One of them like kind of took the tourist route of it, where they actually were there legally, and one of them did not, where he and a couple other people like illegally traveled there, and they were like sneaking around, exploring through buildings and such that way. So it was kind of cool to see it done in two totally different facets. And one guy was able to get to Reactor 5, which was one of the unfinished ones. Is the one that they... Yes. He also got to be outside of Reactor 4 as well. And that's the one, for those of you that are not aware, is the one that actually melted down and caused the catastrophe. And so he got to... I guess they have like a monument outside of it. Oh, got the coin. Sweet. And so he got to explore a lot of that. He went to like the abandoned train station, which is one of the most radioactive locations there. Oh boy. He went to Duga, which is the abandoned radar tower station. Just a whole bunch of places. He even actually went. We watched it last night. He went to Pripyat Hospital and got to go down into the basement where the firefighters' gear was. That's like it's like outside of the Elephant's Foot, which is the most radioactive site in the entire world. The Pripyat Hospital basement, where the firefighters' gear is like also one of the most radioactive locations on the planet. And it's nuts because he went down there and he had one of his like dosimeter devices where you measure the radioactivity, and the firefighters' gear still now today is so wildly radioactive that it could kill you if you were to touch it with your bare hands. It's nuts. Like he measured it, and like just one of the boots that was on the floor down there, it measured out like it was at like 2,400 millisieverts, which is insane. It was like one of the average like sitting levels while they were just like walking around the city was like 2 or 3. They got down right next to that thing, and the thing was just like going nuts with like all the sounds and stuff that it was picking up radiation. And he looked at the screen, and it was at like 2,400. It was one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen. It's just like they've been sitting in that room for 30-something years, and it's still that bad. Yeah, no, there's actually people. There's definitely people that live there.
Why?
And there's all the animals that live there are all considered mutants because they have above average radioactivity levels. So there's about 300 dogs that live in Chernobyl, and they're all considered mutants because they don't look physically mutated, but they are. Yeah, they are. Oh, that's not the way I wanted to go. But yeah, they are considered mutants. As sad and unfortunate as that is. Okay, so this is a tricky jump, and I hate it. It didn't even really work out the way that I wanted. See, that's the beauty of the wings, is that they do help stabilize you, albeit that literally did me no good whatsoever. This track, when you do it in reverse, is one of the most busted tracks in Rush 2049, and there's a path that you can take that literally gives you like almost a half a track lead. It's virtually it's like borderline super unfair. I am not gonna make that. I'm not doing the backwards version of it yet. I'll get around to it here pretty quick. Okay, so this is getting out of hand. Here we go. That was not good. I am trailing by so much right now. Oh my lord. I'll be alright. See you later, love you. So, yeah, dude, it's, but yeah, dude, the urban exploration stuff, it's super gripping. Like, just kind of getting that opportunity of being a fly on the wall and watching people go and explore these places that I have always wanted to go there. I don't know if I could bring myself to do it, because, like, it's an emotionally heavy thing to do. I mean, it's the site of one of the worst. It's the worst nuclear disaster of all time, and it'll probably never be topped by anything until the day comes that, you know, something happens where the world actually freaking explodes. Because, I mean, had Chernobyl, had it not been contained, so to speak, the way that it were, the world very, very possibly could have ended. I mean, it's, you know, not to mince words or anything. I mean, the people, like, some of the firefighters and scientists and people that, you know, took the measures that they took to do what they did, literally saved the world as we know it. And I mean, there's still, you know, potentially like 1 million or so people that died from that, which is crazy to think about. I am very valiantly trying to make a comeback here to steal first place away from this guy, but I don't know if we're going to make it. I never said this was going to be a perfect run, by any means. There will be a couple of tracks that more than likely are going to get kind of rough. And if you make a mistake really at all in this track, especially going forward, there's such a small margin for error. But we'll be all right. I'll gladly take second. I mean, it's not going to affect our ability to, you know, to be able to unlock tracks or unlock vehicles. As long as you can place first in these things, you're more or less good to go. So, but yeah, one of the other ones that I watched that was pretty interesting was these guys called the Proper People. They have a really cool channel where they do a lot of urban exploration stuff. They went to a place called the Hashijo Hotel, Royal Hotel. It was on some like remote island in Japan, and it was apparently like a place where like a lot of the social elite would. Oh, I'm not gonna make that. That's nice. I just wanted to get up on that freaking glass thing, man. It's such a cool way to travel down and go through the finish line, and I just couldn't seem to pull it off. I'll get there. Don't worry. Hansen and Barry. It's not Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps, but it could be. Who knows? But yeah, he went to that place, and it was this really lavish hotel. It was just like huge, and it was on this really cool little island, and just like this like, you know, bird's eye view of the place. You can just see how like all of the vegetation and stuff have like slowly started to reclaim the area, and they go inside, and like there's still a lot of parts of the hotel that are like perfectly preserved, and it's in just like immaculate shape, because it like in a lot of respects it looks like it was just like people just up and left. Like a lot of it was left pretty largely intact. There are a lot of areas that weren't, obviously, but like there was an area where they go and start checking out some of the rooms, and like in one hallway alone they checked out one room where like the room, it looked like it was in perfect condition. Like people could go in there if they wanted to and just go sleep in there, and it would be, you know, like there was no big deal. And then they went down the hallway and went into a different room, and it was completely mangled. Like you could barely even recognize that it was a room, like a hotel room that people would stay in, because like the walls were busted out, and there was mold all over the place, and like all the furniture was completely just destroyed, and you know, just it looked completely unrecognizable. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try it. There's a shortcut that's really tough to nail. Right there. Damn it. It's a great shortcut if you can pull it off. It's just, it requires slowing down, and you have to be really, oh my god, you have to be really up on your aim. Of which playing it with the PS4 controller certainly makes it a little more difficult. But we're gonna be alright, I promise. There's still a couple more shortcuts that we can hit that will definitely ensure our victory here. I mean, we're already up by a lot, but we're definitely not going to lose this one. This is one of the switches that is not a trap. It lowers this wall right here, and you're good to go. You get this really cool glass loop and a coin. And then you just cut right over here. And, I mean, it saves so much space. That is a great... It's a great one to have in your back pocket when you had a rough lap where you just crash on a bunch of shit over and over and over again. Here we go. That was a perfect landing. That's exactly what I wanted. Yeah, I spent a lot of time playing this game at one of the... there was a local arcade that used to be in Salem. It was part of the Lancaster Mall, which is not the Lancaster Mall anymore, which is still weird, but there was I don't remember the name of the arcade, but it was right out front, and my brother and I used to go there all the time. We used to go with my grandpa when he would go to the mall to go walk around. That was kind of one of his ways of getting exercise, and he'd always meet up at the little coffee shop area and talk with the other old dudes that were there about how my brother and I were playing sports and then exchanging more like war stories and things. Okay, let's try and nail this again. And we got it. Awesome. Literally could not have done that any better, and then we ruined it anyways. Is that you, mister? I see you back there. So I'll be done pretty quick. But yeah, so we used to go there, and he'd usually give my brother and I each like $5, which, I mean, we could play for freaking hours in there off of $5. Oh my god. I am not having a very clean run here. Normally I am so much better than this, and maybe as we get going and I get a little bit more, you know, comfortable in everything, I'll make these runs look a little cleaner. But it's not been smooth sailing particularly. But yeah, he used to give us like $5 and we'd go in there, and I mean, we could be in there for like an hour and a half or so, which was like the perfect amount of time for him to be able to do, you know, what he was going to do, and we could do our thing, and by the time, you know, we were done with our money, he'd be done, and then, you know, we'd go home or whatever. But they had all the freaking jams in there. They had House of the Dead, and they had Tekken, and they had Zombie Revenge in there, which was a really cool-ass game that actually is on Dreamcast, and I have a copy of it. So we'll have to screw around with that at some point. It's like, imagine like Resident Evil and House of the Dead in one thing. It's super cool. And they also had Hydro Thunder, which another great game that is also on Dreamcast that I have as well. But they had Rush 2049 in there. And I used to battle with the manager of that arcade because he had like all the high scores. He had all the best lap times, and he had like all the track ghosts and things for, you know, people to try to beat and what have you. And so he and I would go back and forth all the time. Every time I'd show up, it's just like, I'm gunning for your scores, man. Like, you and I we're gonna throw down. We're gonna do this. And so it was a lot of fun. And so I had a lot of time to mess around with this and perfect my skills and get really good at it. The arcade version, though, had a couple of tracks, I think at least one, that this game doesn't have, and it kind of bums me out because it was really cool. It was hard, but it was fun. And just like I said before, the pin pad thing, where you could, you know, enter in, you know, your phone number or whatever, or some type of pin, and create a character for yourself, was sick, because they also had cheats that you could do off of that too. Like if you entered 911, you could get the cop car, and it was super awesome. Okay, I think that this is probably a good place that we can stop for right now. We got basically half of the beginner circuit done in one episode, and so when we come back on the ensuing episode, we get to do all of the tracks that we just did, but we're going to do them in reverse. And so you guys will get to see that super awesome busted shortcut in the third track that literally blows the thing wide open, that makes it almost impossible to lose, especially on beginner. And then if we have any time at the end, which we probably will, because I spent a solid like 4 or 5 minutes in the beginning just talking in general, we might be able to mess around with the first stunt track, and so you can kind of get a little bit of an idea of what that's all about. So, with that said, my friends, this is your host, Lovely Cheese Pizza, saying thank you guys for watching. I hope that you guys stick around for this series because I'm going to have a lot of fun with this. And especially since I can't do Gran Turismo 3 right now, this is another racing game that, you know, allows me to just kind of decompress and relax and talk about whatever and still have a really good time playing this. And, hey, that's when everything's good. So, with that said, my friends, I will see you guys next time. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and take care, everybody. Have a good one.